Real quick, the only ask I could ever have of you guys is to help spread the word so we can help more women lose body fat, build muscle, reach their goals, and feel insanely confident. And the only way we can do that is if you rate, review, and share this podcast. So the single thing I ask for you to do is if you could leave a review. It will take you 10 seconds. And it will mean the absolute world to me and may change the world of someone else.
Imagine finding a sustainable approach to health that allows you to focus on building a better body rather than just chasing weight loss. Today's story is about Lisa, a WarriorBabe member who broke free from the endless cycle of fad diets to discover a new way of eating that prioritizes muscle growth, clarity, and confidence. Stay tuned to hear how Lisa embraced carbohydrates, ditched the scale, and transformed her relationship with food for good. Welcome to a world where weight loss isn't the ultimate measure of progress. Meet Lisa, a dedicated warrior babe who gained a leaner physique, fuller muscles, and mental clarity by transforming her approach to health and fitness. I am your host, Nikkiey Stott, and on this episode, be sure to stick around to learn why trusting the process, planning your meals, and embracing a sustainable approach can help you transform your relationship with fitness too. Hey everybody, welcome to our WarriorBabe interview with our veteran WarriorBabe Lisa. Lisa has been a WarriorBabe for about 9 months now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And at the initial start, you just dove right into the VIP program. You came in, you were eating less carbohydrates. I bumped your carbs up to like 210, and in that first week you dropped weight. We were both like, oh my God. But even though you've only lost about 10 pounds in total, you dropped down to like around the 15, 14 marker. But even though it's only been that 10 pound in your journey has been more of a stay at the same weight and watch your composition start to change.
Right.
So I'm excited to kind of touch base on that here. And then on top of that, plus it's been an amazing thing to watch your transformation as a coach with your body, but your mindset since day one of working with you has completely shifted. You're a very strong-minded individual, but you've gone the course of understanding how this is a journey, and you have brought so much to the table recently in our Q&As and our huddles about the whole aspect of what the journey should entail on the mindset side of things. So it's been amazing to watch your progress, both mind and body. And so everybody, Lisa is here today to share some pointers for you, babe, so that you can adopt some of her strategies into your own journey moving forward. So welcome, Lisa. I'm super excited to have you here.
Thanks.
All right, babe. So let's kick it off. Let's open it up and you tell us your story and how you got to where you are now.
Okay. Going back a ways, just really throughout my life, I've just been on so many different, my own journeys, of one fad diet to the next, and the next year something new comes out and I'm like, oh, well, that's why that wasn't working, because I was eating this, and then it was like, oh, well, I'm not eating that. It was always this, eat this, don't eat that, do this, don't do that. And, intermittent fasting and keto and, oh, these are all the magic things, and I'm like, well, if it's the magic thing, why do people keep going off of it? Why do they keep restarting it? If this is the magic, thing. And I was like, why can't I ever stick with anything, And it was like, because I miss carbs. Like, that's what would sidetrack me. Yeah. And, so I stalked you for like a year, and I just watched what you would say. And I was like, so many times, like just bells would go off. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, that's exactly how I'm thinking, like, how does she know how I'm thinking? And, so after I trusted you before I knew you.
Yeah.
And, and I reached out to you several times and you responded back directly to me. So I was like, okay, she's real and, I can do this. And so when I reached out to you, and I was eating like around 90 carbs a day, if that. And I thought that was actually a lot, I was like, yeah, I thought that was a lot. And so then you gave me that first week of it, and it was like, I think the very first week, I think I was at like 185 or 190 carbs. And I was like, oh my gosh, and we dropped like 6 pounds that week. And you were like, And, you know, so then you bumped me up to over 200 that next week. And I was like, oh my gosh. You know, the first couple, it took me a few weeks to start kind of feeling things. But after like 2, 3, 4 weeks, I was like, my clarity started coming back. My mind wasn't just a total fog all the freaking time. And I had energy, I had strength, like my workout started being productive again. I could actually lift heavier weight. Just everything in general, you know, just came together. And so that's what got me being a believer, you know, in the process. And then from there, the journey is just, you know, it'll go on. I think throughout the interview, we'll touch on it, but that's kind of got me to where I was like, okay, I'm a believer, you know, and you were right there with me. You were like, don't freak out. You know, this is good. This is a good thing, you know? And I was so hungry. Like you instantly gave me like all this more food. And, you know, after that, remember the first week I said, Nikki, I'm not going to be able to eat all this food. This is so much food. And then after that first week, I was like, I need more food, you know? And I think every week since then, I've been like, I want more food, you know?
Yeah.
You're pretty accommodating, you know?
How long would you say that your journey has been with the whole fitness, the whole trying the different things that you touched base on at the beginning to what got you to like right here? How long has that been?
I probably over 30 years. You know, 30, 40 years of trying. I mean, I went from everything from, because, you know, when I was a teenager, you know, I was pudgy. I was very fluffy. And so my mom, you know, put me on, like the very first diet I remember was the grapefruit diet.
What?
And yeah, it was terrible.
Oh my
and then
God.
it was the cabbage diet. And then it was the Scarsdale diet. And then it was just like one diet. And then it was like the eat one kind of thing a day diet. You know, I mean, like, just from one thing to the other, literally my whole life. And then of course, you know, I'd lose weight, but then I would get to that point and I would just, I mean, how much cabbage can you eat? I don't really eat cabbage to this day because of, you know, that diet. You know, and so everything would always just end up, I'd abandon it because it wasn't realistic and there's no way you can stick to that. And every single time, you know, I would get thinner, but I didn't look necessarily better. And I'd always go off of it. And then I would just gorge, you know, eat whatever, gain my weight back plus some. And then the next new diet would come along. And I've done that for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. What was that? Do you want to share? I think we were just about to get like right into it. The way that we're conversating already, I can tell that like, I want you to be able to share like what you just recently shared on one of the Q&As, because this is what we were talking about. We were talking about all these different diets and the things that you've done to your body over the course of these years. And then you've come to this point recently, like you even shared, it's like this epiphany just happened like a couple weeks ago. Share that. And what was that shift? Yeah.
So obviously I've had more time on my hands lately and I've had a lot more time to think about things. And I started asking myself a lot of questions, you know, because I've seen improvement in my body, even though I'm doing everything that I've always been told I couldn't do. I couldn't eat more. I definitely couldn't eat more carbs, you know, doing less cardio, you know, all these things that I've always been told you have to do. And so, you know, trusting this process. And I was like, you know, why do I have these goal ranges? You know, like I have this range of goals in my head that's acceptable to me, that I can diet and get to, you know, this point. Why is it once I get to that point, I'm just like, okay, I've won, you know, I'm there. And then I just start eating normal again. And then I have this other range over here that's my maximum acceptable range, you know, and once I get there, that's my kind of like, I've reached unhappiness now. Now it's time to start going back this way. And it was just kind of like this yo-yo effect. I would just keep going back and forth, you know, for all these years. Well, I mean, heck, that's done a lot of damage to my body. My body was shot and it didn't trust me, you know? So when I started with you, I think I've had a lot of resistance in my body for months, because my body, it didn't believe me. It was waiting for that shoe to drop, oh, she's going to go back to, what she was doing. And I think that when I didn't, probably around the 6-month mark is when I kind of started asking myself these questions. And just here recently, I've really gotten serious about questioning myself. Mm-hmm. And, just wanting to know why I do these things. And I'm still not, I'm not 100% to that point yet of all my whys. But I am starting to recognize them, which is really big for me, and talk about them, which anybody that knows me knows that's really big.
Yes.
To share any weaknesses.
Yes, 100%. I know you so well. But that's one thing that so many women is on like a deeper level don't realize, that they do this back and forth. And that's something that you've come to the realization of. Why do you do this back and forth? Right.
Yeah. And, I do it just because I would do it because I always had an acceptable weight in my head, like I always had this goal, like I want to get to, whatever, 135, that's where I want to get to. And by all means necessary, I would get there. It was like a challenge, like my challenge weight is 135, go, and I would do whatever I had to. I'd cardio myself to death, doing whatever, eating 1,000 calories a day. Yeah, I know. Right. And, and then I would get there and I would be miserable. I was hungry as shit. Mm-hmm. And, I all around didn't feel good. I didn't have the energy to go do things. I had terrible brain fog, just all the time. And I just thought there was something wrong with me, and not understanding that not only was it my nutrition, but my mental set had become so skewed that I actually thought that this was right. Like, this is how it should be. And this is how it is. And it's not.
Yes. So let's touch base on that, because you've been pretty much around the same weight. And this is something that always screws with so many women's heads. Like, I have to be this particular weight. Like you're saying, I need to get to 135, this challenge. I need to hit this specific weight. I need to lose 10, 15 pounds. You've been sitting at the same weight for like fluctuating for what, like 3 months now?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But we're seeing the composition changes. Your muscles are getting fuller and bigger. Your legs are getting fuller and bigger. So share with us this, how do you handle not that, like the weight aspect, not really changing, but then being able to look at the pictures and be like, like, how do you handle that? How do you handle it? It's not a weight thing. It's like your journey has been a lot of just, hey, your composition is changing.
Right. And so before I even say that, I'll say that with you, every single week, I'm accountable to you on Saturday mornings, and I have check-ins with you. So that means my measurements, that means my pictures, that means my weight, body fat. And so that's the first time ever that I've had to be accountable with all of that. It was usually just me looking in the mirror and, getting on the scale. And so that number, that was everything. Mm-hmm. That number was everything on the scale. And so, and in the beginning with you, it was, because that's just how my mind had been wired. And, I would really freak out if my weight didn't drop down, or if it went up half a pound, but yet I had been really good with, my macros and exercise. But then, I had to sit back and say, I have to trust this process. I'm with Nikkiey for a reason. So I just started, I said, I'm not going to concentrate on the scale. I'm really going to focus on, what do I look like? And I know that, I do this. I take either my very first picture, or I'll take 1 month previous, and I keep them, I put them side by side every week. And the changes that I see in my body, I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm the same weight, but why do I look so much different? Mm-hmm. Why is my waist changing? Why are my legs changing? My arm, like everything is changing. My composition is changing. And taking that leap of faith to do that, that was the first time ever that I had done that. And that was a breakthrough point for me, to break through, to say that I use that number for Nikkiey. I give that number to Nikkiey, and I give it to you and I let it go. If it goes up, and I've learned too, sometimes I'm on my period. So I may go up 2 or 3 pounds, or things just may not be consistent with my body that week. I may not be eliminating properly. I mean, there's a ton of things. I could have had Chinese food and had too much sodium. Like, that scale is just not, a rock solid number, it fluctuates.
Yeah.
And so just understanding that is not my go-to. How do I look? Looking at those numbers, looking at my measurements. Why am I, if I put on a couple pounds, where? Because my measurements didn't change one single bit and I'm looking better. So I had to start trusting that process. And that was a hard process for me to trust. But once I did, once I went across that threshold, then it just kind of all released, and it all just clicked, and it made sense to me. And then that's when I kind of really started opening up, asking myself questions, and just exploring a little deeper.
Yeah, that is so freaking powerful. It's detaching yourself from that number and realizing how you can do that is by realizing the other variables that are coming into play. And by looking at yourself, looking at your side-by-side photos and seeing, holy sugar muffins, your body composition is drastically changing. And that number is barely moving, but there's changes. Like the pictures that, and I'll have to somehow put it into this interview, but the pictures that you just recently shared with me, you can drastically see your quads are way bigger, your arms are way bigger, the composition is changing. So, but your numbers staying the same. So like you're saying, breaking through that threshold, it's a number for Nikkiey, and that's it. Like the babes, it's a number for your check-ins, and that's it. The value lies in your photos, how you're feeling, and those measurements.
And the one thing we didn't kind of put into that was that I may be gaining a little bit of weight now, but we didn't touch on the fact that I think you've brought me up like 500 or 600 calories a day, and cut one of my cardio days. So like my food went up, my, exertion went down, and I'm still kind of really holding there. I mean, I haven't had any major jumps, a couple ounces, but nothing major.
Yeah, that's another thing that we could totally touch base on, is that if your body was sitting at a caloric intake for a very long enough time for it to get adapted, and in order to shock that body, we brought you up those 600 calories, lowered your expenditure, but you can see that your body wanted that food because you're not shifting. If anything, you're filling out even more. Right. So.
And I got hungry that week. Yeah. Like when you increased me, I wasn't hungry before. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, Nikkiey, I'm hungry. Like I want more food.
Yeah. So the moral that we're sharing with the women that they can understand is that food's not the enemy. The scale is not your go-to number. Your body composition is going to change. If your goal is to change your body composition, to get toned, to build muscle, that number is not reliable. And you need the food. You need the food in order to get there.
Right. And I'm learning that. I mean, every day I'm still learning. I mean, I'm so far away from knowing everything I need to know, but I'm so far removed from where I was.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. How do you deal with the psychological side of eating more food in order to get to the kind of goals that you got in mind?
Hey, just want to drop a huge appreciation to you guys listening to the show. It means a lot. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and there's so much more to come with it. If you are enjoying it, hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that tons. And also, it would help this podcast reach others who need to hear these messages too. Thanks so much, guys. Let's get back to the show.
Now I'm really positive about it. Like I embrace it now. I'm like, yes.
How about yeah, you're like, give me freaking hungry.
Give me more food,
How about that initial, when you first started the VIP and you saw that carb number come through? What was your thought process?
I was like, oh my God, is she kidding? Like, no. I don't eat that many carbs in 3 days. Is she kidding me? I was like, But then like when I was, like planning out my meal, I was like, oh, I can have a bagel, like, and I started getting excited.
It's like permission that you needed to be able to eat the foods that you enjoy.
Right. And I was like, well, are you sure? Can I have I can have a bagel? And you're like, yeah. Okay. All right. I'm trusting you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
so the psychological part was really pretty easy for me. And I think it's because it came at a good time for me. Like I was ready for that increase. I was ready to shake things up. I was ready
for change.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're ready for that change because you were doing so much of the same thing.
Right.
With you diet, low calories. And then you're like, okay, she wants me to eat. Okay.
Right.
Let's
that's
like you get to that point. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you kind of get to that point where you're like, what else do I have to lose, man? I've been trying this whole way of things for so long.
Right. And that's usually where that's where I would fall off when I'd hit that point where I couldn't make it change anymore. And the frustration would set in and I'd be like, forget it. Tired of trying. Why am I trying? And so, but having we could talk about it, because that's huge. I can talk to you every week and say, what's going on? Why is this happening? Well, let's try this. Let's try that. It just helps so much because those are things I don't know. The biggest pointer, number one pointer, plan ahead. Plan your meals the day before. There are no excuses. You cannot wing it. You will not meet your protein goals if you're going to wing it. You'll go over in your carbs and your fats, and you will not meet your protein goals. Or at the end of the day, you will have some funky combination of crap that you're trying to put together because you have not planned properly, or you're having to eat way too many calories. When I plan my day, I don't care what's going on the night before. It takes me less than 5 minutes to do my entire day. It's just a matter of getting used to it. And when you plan it that way, all 6 of my meals are spread out. They are proportioned properly. I've got my proteins spread out. I've got my pre and post workout carbs where I need them to be. You cannot succeed long-term for your lifetime with this if you do not plan ahead, period. If you don't plan your day ahead of time, it's not going to work.
Amen. Mic drop. 100%. Don't just they hear me reiterate that over and over. So it's really nice having you come in and be like, plan ahead. Now, so talking about the protein, which you brought up a good point, is like you will have some wacky combination with the protein numbers. You'll be over. I commonly hear this, that it's hard for them to hit protein numbers. How do you hit your protein numbers?
Easily, because usually I'm like, Nikkiey, can I have more protein, please?
I hear you. Yeah,
this is not enough protein. I need more. So I have no problem. Like I don't have any suggestions on that because I spread it out throughout the day, and I have protein with every meal. And
what are your protein sources that you go to?
My go-tos are egg whites, lean ground beef, chicken, fish. Those are usually my main ones. And then with my pre or post workout, I'll have a protein shake and usually an isolate whey for my post workout shake. But egg whites are great because, they just fill that protein source.
Stacked with protein, and especially lean meats too, as well. It's just stacked with protein. Yep. Do you prep? How do you go about the prep? How do you do your meal prep?
I pretty much just usually on Sundays or sometimes midway through the week, I'll kind of refresh everything. But usually I just make my big tub of my ground beef, my thing of chicken. I steam up my broccoli or whatever my vegetable is for that week. Whatever my meats are, everything is already in a big Tupperware in there. And my whole family eats off of that. And that's why usually I'll do it twice a week. My husband knows, like, he doesn't come in and say, what's for dinner, because he knows, like, whatever's in there. Like there's rice. I cook a big thing of jasmine rice, and we'll have that in there, with some like new potatoes. And so when I open up the refrigerator, there's always a carb choice. There's always a protein choice. And then there's either avocado for the fats, or I've got olive oil or, coconut oil, whatever we have up there. for the fats. And it's easy.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes. Number one pointer for the protein is just bulk it, cook it, and put it in a Tupperware, put it in the fridge, and you know it's there. You just pull it out, weigh it, put it in Tupperware. If you're on the run, grab and go.
And that, you know, there's no excuses for, well, I had an unexpected this, I had an unexpected that, I had to run out, I wasn't expecting it. No, because all you do is throw your food into a Tupperware very quickly, you know, it takes you 2 minutes and your food is there for you. I keep a to-go bag that's always got like emergency things in there. It's got my go-to rice cakes, gotta have rice cakes, you know. It's got, you know, packets of peanut butter or almond butter in there. I've got a couple things of beef jerky. I've got some protein bars.
That is, you know, an emergency go-to bag.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm out and I think I'm coming home and then something happens, you know, and that I'm going to miss that 3-hour window. And the thing is, by now at this point being in the program, you know, almost 9 months, that means that I'm going to have to change some macros. But because my day is already set and now I'm so used to doing my macros, all I have to do is go in and adjust. Do I need to reduce my fats in this meal? Do I need to increase my protein? You know, it's easy at that point because everything is already in there and I'm just recalculating and tweaking, you know, a few of the things.
100%. So this is a really good question. How, being that you are so advanced with the macro side of things, now, what got you to that point?
I did not like being hungry, and I would always screw up. I was not being prepared enough in the beginning, and after talking with you, and you're like, get it planned ahead of time, and doing that being able to go to the refrigerator and know that it was there and I could just grab it. You know, poor planning was the reason that I saw why having everything set was so important. Because when I poor plan, I poor eat. You know, I know that's not really a proper sentence, but
no, you said it point blank. You poor plan, you poor eat.
Yeah, it's really as simple as that. And if you are not eating properly, nothing else is going to go right. You're not going to feel like doing your workouts. And it's going to throw you psychologically off that you already screwed up your day. So why do I need to work out? I'll just start tomorrow, which is another psychological game we play. That's why we always wait till Monday to start a diet, you know.
Exactly. So touching base on the psychological side, and your mindset shift has been so amazing throughout your entire journey here as a warrior babe. What do you think is the biggest mental shift that you've personally made here for yourself in your fitness journey?
Oh, I've had a few. My biggest mental shift would really have to be the letting go of the number. That's my biggest one. That's huge for me. Letting go of that, just letting the scale go, and realizing that it's about me, getting me to where I want to be, but to be able to stay there. And that scale number was not going to, do that for me. Being able to accept that maybe I don't really know what my true proper weight should be. Maybe I need to let my body tell me that and work with my body instead of working against my body. Mm-hmm. And so after I just getting rid of that number out of my head, maybe 135 is not my weight.
Yeah, no, girl, you got muscle on you now. I don't know. If you're going to do a comp, maybe, we'll push you down there, but that's necessary. But yeah, it's kind of just like going where you get to your goals, whatever point it is till you get to your goals. That's what weight you are, because you could be like, we joke about in the calls, Pam wants to be 170 and be packed with muscle, and
right.
Somebody who is 5'2" would be completely different numbers. Like, everybody's completely different. Just focusing on your goals, and then wherever your goal is, that's your weight.
Yep.
It's huge.
Absolutely.
So what do you, for somebody who's just starting their journey, besides the planning ahead and, poor planning equals poor eating, what advice would you give if you were just face to face sitting down with somebody and they were just starting their journey and they asked you, okay, how have you been so successful? What's the advice that you would give them that when they're just starting their fitness journey?
Well, the first thing would be that you really have to be honest with yourself. You have to, you have to understand some of the things that have maybe gotten you to where you are. That it's kind of a tough one because in the beginning, sometimes you don't recognize, I know with me, that probably wouldn't have resonated because I wouldn't have recognized that about myself yet because I thought I knew what, I kind of thought I knew what I was doing wrong or doing right. So that's kind of tough with me, but I think just really being honest, especially if somebody's starting off with you, being honest with you. I know a lot of people think that they can not be honest, like I hit my macros or, I was really, and that's only robbing them because you're here to help them. You're not here to criticize them. So that's why I'll tell you, like, if I've screwed up, like I had a really bad week, I just screwed up, because then you understand that my numbers went up, but there was a reason for it. It's not because my macros weren't at the right spot. It's because I ate more macros than I should have, or maybe I ate less than I was supposed to, and I didn't get my water in, and, my body, I've got inflammation. I've got a lot of things going on, like just really being open and honest. I can't talk about anybody on any other fitness journey or, but with you, and just being honest with you, because we have a lot of things going on with us. I have a lot of stuff that causes inflammation in my body. I let you know that stuff, because it makes sense to you, or, at being at the age where, I'm going to start being, postmenopausal, or menopausal. Those are things that we have to understand about our body. So I guess for a newbie, you just have to understand that maybe everything that you've always been told is not the truth, and it's not correct, and it's not right for you. So that if you're coming into this program, you need to learn how to trust the process. You need to understand that you're going to be probably eating more than you're used to. You're probably going to be doing probably less cardio than you're used to. But that each one of us is different, and that, you and your team are great, and you figure things out, and, to get us where we need to be.
Yeah, the honesty is definitely, I completely agree. And I appreciate everything you said, but the honesty is probably the most important thing. And that's why you and I hit it off from the start, because you were open, honest. If you went over on macros or something like that at the beginning, you were Nikkiey, I did this. When you went away on vacation, you were open and honest. Talking on the honesty game, because a lot of people think that they can get away, like you're saying, like, yeah, I hit my macros this week. And that right there, if you actually didn't, and then I'm like tossing my brain, I'm like, well, why the fuck haven't numbers moved? Why hasn't anything shifted? That can make the whole situation even worse. Like if I need to shift numbers and you're actually not eating it, and I cut you down lower, like your metabolism can crash if I ended up doing that. And that's why not only the honesty on that end, but also the honesty and responsibility for where you are at the start of your journey coming into it, so that that everything you've done will probably need to be fixed now. There's gonna be a different outlook moving forward. Like you said, you're gonna be eating more food. Just the whole mental shift of responsibility and honesty when you first start off with something. 100%.
Right.
That's great advice. Great advice. Love it. So what would you say being a warrior babe means to you?
This one I actually wrote down because I knew that I wanted to say it right.
Yes.
Me and my squirrel mind. But I said, Warrior Babe is a total and complete mindset shift. It is a physical, mental, and emotional shift to become the very best person that I can be. It has challenged me daily, weekly, and monthly to dig in deep and hard and find the strength that I need to change my body and my mindset.
Wow, you gave me the chills. That's awesome. And you have legitimately lived that experience that you just shared. You have come in, created an insane shift with not just your body, but like I said at the beginning, your mindset has totally shifted. I mean, one of the biggest things that I think that I keep replaying in my head, because I know it's going to help so many women, is the fact when you shared that, I've done decades of abuse to my body with the different programmings that I've tried and done. And now I'm realizing that I have decades moving forward to actually do it the right way.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, like I had shared on the one call too, I said, you know, I know that we always kind of talk about, you know, the journey, you know, and I said that I've kind of removed myself from that word, because still to me, the journey somehow has an ending to it. You know, people talk about the race, you know, and I'm like, well, those definitely end, you know. And so for me, it's just becoming more, I just have tried to transition that to the lifestyle that I have moved into, you know, the proper lifestyle for me, that this is here to stay. It's not somewhere that I'm going to get to a certain point and then be like, okay, you know, I'm here. You know, it's just a constant, it's going to be my lifestyle, you know, eating my macros properly, exercising properly. And, you know, that's important for me.
You're me live until you're 120.
I hope not. I don't have enough money to do that.
Awesome, Lisa. Well, let's close it out with giving the babes your like favorite snack or favorite macro combo that you enjoy eating on a daily basis.
Okay, you're gonna laugh. So my favorite snack that I love is a piece of Ezekiel bread toasted with Biscoff cookie butter on it.
Oh,
my daughter got me turned on to that, and like I fit my whole day. I put that in first before I do anything else.
Where did you get this Biscoff cookie?
At the grocery store in the peanut butter aisle, and it's the best tasting. And get the crunchy, because the crunchy actually has like the cookie bits in it instead of nuts. It has the crunched up cookie. It's so good.
Oh my God, that sounds incredible. A brand?
And the good thing with it is on some days, like I've run out of protein, but I still need carbs and fat. So that's got the carbs and fat and hardly any protein. So that works good.
Perfect.
That's my favorite.
That sounds amazing. I'm going to go to the grocery store now and buy some. What brand is it?
I think it's actually just Biscoff. It's like from the cook, you know, the cookies that like they give you on the airplanes. It's really good cookies. Yeah. I think it's just Biscoff.
Nice.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Okay. All right. And then what would you say is your favorite muscle group to work out?
Shoulders.
Nice. I knew you were going to say it. Yes, show those shoulders off.
Yeah, they're feeling a little weak today, but that's only because of your workout.
All right, babe. So for those of you who want to learn more about the programs that WarriorBabe offers and how to get started, you can go to www.warriorbabe.com and become a part of thousands of women who are getting toned and becoming stronger, more confident versions of themselves. And Lisa is one of them. Lisa, you shared so much great value, so much great insight in terms of it's not just the body transformation, but it's also the mental transformation. And you are living proof of it. So thank you for your time here. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Hey guys, real quick. If you're interested in taking your body to the next level, lose body fat, build more muscle, feel more confident, do it alongside one of our 30+ professional coaches. Work one-on-one with her to eliminate all of the guesswork that you may have. And all you need to do is just do the work that she tells you to do to get to those goals of yours. Now, to learn more, click the link below this podcast and apply to our VIP program right now.